Hi, this is Ernie again. I'm that guy who had 6,000 in his checking account to now having millions of dollars. People have asked me, did you make that video of how you went from $6 to millions? So here it is. As you probably know, I got scammed. By a former friend, and I ended up having $6, literally $6 in my checking account, and I was saddled with $15,000 in credit card debt. And I didn't have a job, so there was no way I was going to be able to pay this off. Um, and luckily, I had a friend who had an uncle, and he taught people how to manage money. That was his like side gig. He did it for free. I think except for some wealthy families or something. So we drove down there, and he said, before I do anything, I want to make sure that you are on the right side of the fence. And I said, okay, what do you mean by that? He said, people who get out of debt and accumulate wealth, and people who become wealthy, successful, there's one common trait, and that differentiates them from people who are not successful. And I said, okay, what is it? They have the determination and the willingness and smart enough, not super smart like you go to MIT or Caltech, but smart enough to figure out what they need to do to get there, versus people who are not on that side of the fence. They always come up with excuses and reasons why it's not going to work. So he gave me an example, and the example was pretty much like, somebody who's like, I cannot give up coffee. Oh, I cannot give up drinking. Oh, I need to watch TV. Just always excuses why they don't want to eliminate their expenses. They said they'll never get out. But people who are like, if that's what it takes for me to do it, I'll do it. Those people will get out of that, eventually accumulate wealth. I told him, I don't know which side of the fence I am, but I am really desperate. I'm willing to do whatever he tells me to do. So we started having this conversation. But then the next step was he asked me to jot down on a piece of paper all the ways I spend money on a daily, weekly basis. So despite us having like buffet style dining hall, this was while I was in college, the food sucked. They even had a rumor that the meat that we get has the USDA stamp on it that says graded D. Not B, D as in Delta, but edible. That's what's on the meat. It was just horrendous. So I used to go out to eat all the time. And that's where I spent a lot of my money. So he said, no, you got to stop doing that. If you want snacks, you got to bring Tupperware and bring whatever food. And like fruits, it was all those canned like peaches and tangerines. But he said, it doesn't matter. If you want to get out of debt and start accumulating enough money to invest again, you have to do this. I was like, okay, I'll do it. Snapple, I used to go buy it all the time. Luckily, I didn't drink coffee. Luckily, I didn't smoke. So I didn't have those expenses. But like going to the movies, he's like, no more going to the movies. No more buying popcorn. No more buying soda. No more this, no more that. Why are you taking, toll roads? Take the local road. Like if you don't have money to pay gas, don't go. Utilize public transportation. All these. So I completely minimize my expenses. And then he told me that there's no way you'll be able to pay off unless you have a source of income. So I used to tutor kids, right? And he said, that's not enough money for you to make your payments. Because 1%, which is a minimum amount of money that they require you to pay on your credit card, he said, then you're barely paying interest. So for you to pay principal, you need more money. So I went to get 2 more jobs. So I had 3 jobs. Worked at a warehouse, worked at a toll booth, kept teaching kids and taught more kids. And he said, what do you have at your dorm room or at your home? Sell everything you do not need. So we went through a list. He's like, oh, I really like listening to these CD. No, sell them. He's like, you could live without listening to CD. This is when I started listening to Bloomberg News Radio in my car, right? He's like, oh, speaker system, sell it. Like if you go to like one of those used CD store, you're not going to make money. So sell them on eBay or wherever. So I literally sold everything I had, and I was able to raise, I think, close to $3,000. And every weekend I went home and I said, Mom and Dad, is there something that we don't need that I could sell? And I'll do 50-50 with you. And my parents are like, yeah, sell whatever you want. So there was like a toolbox we had. There was like extra lawnmower we had. Some old things that we didn't use. I sold everything. And I think we got about $16,000 or so. So my dad and I split that. So this is how I paid my credit card debt, with a job that I had and selling everything. I mean, everything. I literally, like that uncle was like, do you really need 10 pairs of your boxers? It's like, you could live with 5. You don't have to buy anymore. And if you have anything new, sell them. So this is how I literally sold everything. So when I, at the end of the year, when I moved out of the dorm, I literally could pack everything in a medium-sized suitcase. That's how little I had. So that's how I got out. And this continuous source of income, and now I ran out of things to sell. So I used to go to outlet malls, trying to buy things cheap and sell them on eBay. And back then, eBay, they didn't have their systems and processes in place. So even if you don't pay commission, they don't ban you or block you because they just want it to grow. So like, I try to keep as much money as possible so that I can pay my credit card debt. And I think year and a half, I completely paid off my debt. And I saved enough money, I think back up to $6,000. So I could start all over investing. Investing and start accumulating wealth. As much as I wish I can tell you, oh, there was like some penny stock that I bought went from $6 to a couple $1,000. No, I needed to make some hard sacrifices in my daily life so that I can pay off my debt and accumulate enough money to start investing. And still now, when I talk to my employees or my friends, or even raising my 2 kids, I still go back to what my friend's uncle told me. I want to raise kids who are able to figure things out and get it done rather than coming up with excuses. And I actually see this in some of the comments. Even early this morning. Yeah, this is not going to work. No, that one is not going to work. Oh, you'll never be able to consistently do it. Oh, in a bear market, you cannot do this. Oh, because of it, I don't even want to try and I don't want to do it. There are people like that. Don't let these people bother you because it's all noise. Because at the end of the day, why are you listening to advice from people who are not successful in the stock market, career-wise? Why are you listening to them? You should be listening to people who figure things out and got things done. These are the people that you want to hear from. Hopefully, this story is useful in terms of your journey to financial freedom. Hopefully, you'll make the right determination and decide to be on the right side of the fence where you figure things out, make some sacrifices, find ways to get out of debt, and start investing and accumulating wealth so that that wealth will help you get rid of your job and enjoy your life. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you on Friday.